Trading with the StockSnipers.
Hey, yeah, spend the love in there.
In Fort Lauderdale. Cool.
Welcome to the weekly Wednesday webinar. It is February 16th and we are officially here. So we always like to talk about hot sectors. There wasn't anything hot, but if you are gonna ever take advantage of a hot sector, that's where you're gonna get your biggest bags. Last week we actually had cannabis that's somewhat heated up. You saw Tilray, it somewhat made a move, but that only usually happens when we have big legalizations. We had small legalizations in Mississippi. We had the reform bill that happened. So those are small things that are happening. Once a big thing happens, that's when we'll be able to take advantage of that sector. But right now, no hot sectors. So when it's cold, we want to say be very, very selective, guys. Don't get crazy. Now, this is our weekly stats. We're going to go over our biggest win and biggest loss. And our biggest actually loss that we're still in right now is an option. So that's something that we're going to go over as well. But for this week that we actually have verified, we actually had a decent week here because of the big win that we actually are going to go over and highlight today in Islas. So a huge first green day that we actually were able to take advantage of. It was technically a panic dip buy turned into a first green day. And that's really going to be our biggest thing that we'll be able to highlight today.
Jack. This would be cool to do it together. Swing it at Islas with the puppy in the house.
I feel like it's from too far behind right now.
Exactly.
I feel like it's an inefficiency right here because look at how strong.
I really do think it's going to curl, man.
But it looks like I'm pretty convicted on it now.
Yeah, 100%. For some reason, I like it. I've liked it forever.
In Islas, 1034.
All right, snipers. It looks like we got ourselves a stock.
You're very familiar with key numbers or half numbers. 0.10 or 10 cents is a very key number, and we've been seeing a lot of stocks bounce off key numbers like CYBL, which actually bounced off a penny.
Wow, I forgot about this one, yeah.
Yeah, it bounced off a penny. It doesn't look like a lot, but it bounced about 40%. So if ILUS bounced 40%, it would bring it to about 14 cents, and it wouldn't look like a big move on the chart, but that's a 40% move. So that's kind of what we're looking for. Maybe we'll swing it depending on how it closes, but right now we got our risk intact in the high 9s and the low 10s. So we'll see how it plays out.
Oh, good shit, Jack. You showed up on the right day, dude. That's what I'm freaking talking about. We gotta get our, what's it called? Take the money, or yeah. This is our webinar song. But since we got Jack in the building today, we're gonna do something special, and we're gonna kind of more run about what he has to think, his more knowledge, because you guys hear from me every single day. So I'll put in my 2 cents and what I have to say. But first, I want to introduce a legend, someone that actually helped us make this money. I'm not saying he was the only reason why, because we did have it on the watch list here in the morning. If you are on our watch list, you're able to see that Islas was something we eyed down for a while, but we were blessed enough to actually have Jack in the building with us to be able to take advantage of this. And the great thing about this is he made a little more percentage, but the amount that he won was a lot more because he's getting very good. I think this is what he's good at, is sizing in and realizing what his risk is. So he's going to be able to tell you guys what he's good at and what he's not good at. But we'll dive into this Islas trade after, I would say. But first, let me start off by introducing one of the biggest legends I would think I know in the stock market world. And guys, I have met Tim Sykes before. Awesome. He is a huge legend right here. But this guy's got really good knowledge behind everything that he has to say. And he's a really cool guy. And what's even better about it is he's younger than me. So I get to look up to somebody that's younger than me. It's very few people in this world that I actually do look up that are younger than me. But this is one of those people that if you are younger than him, look up to him. But if you're older than him, look down to him and really understand that this guy's got something good, if that makes any sense here. But yeah, guys, so let me introduce my boy, Jack Kellogg.
Yeah, thanks
He's
for having me on,
officially here,
Mike.
guys. Let's go, dude.
It's been a fun couple days. I took kind of a last-minute trip to Fort Lauderdale, have some family down here, and just been chilling. And then I remembered that the StockSnipers, I thought it was Fort Myers, Fort Lauderdale, and I just remembered that, you know, they've been around for longer than me. They've been around trading since 2014. I actually didn't even hear about penny stocks till 2017, so they got a few years on me. And even though I've made more money, they still have a ton of experience. And I can tell, like, Mike has a ton of passion for teaching and has great positive energy. So it's good people to surround myself with and just hang out. And it's been a cool couple days, and I've had a lot of fun hanging out and golfing and doing all that. So thanks for doing everything, and
Heck yeah, it's been an honor, dude.
yeah,
It's been an honor.
It's been fun going out getting dinner and
Yeah.
golfing and trading and all that stuff.
And dude, that's only been with the weekdays too. It's unfortunate that he did come on the weekdays. I mean, it is fortunate because we were able to profit, but the weekends, dude, we'll have to eventually have a weekend together. We'll eventually get in a weekend. But before we talk about diving in and like partying and enjoying ourselves, because life is about that, and you really do want to have fun with your day-to-day life. And to tell you guys the truth, I'll be honest with you guys, I'll be more open, drank a little tequila today. I was not in the best place of my life when I got out of college, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do in life, and I didn't know what the heck I was going to do for a long time. And I actually told Jack, he knew about it, but I was selling gym memberships. So I was selling gym memberships right out of college. I didn't go to school for that. I went to school for finance, and I was kind of lost for a little bit trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So if you guys are in that point and you guys are ever thinking negative or in that state of mind, just know that there's other people just like you guys, and that is okay, guys. It's okay. Because when you do find a passion and something that you really do love, like the stock market here, that is when you kind of wake up and you actually enjoy your day-to-day things. So, hey, if you're looking for something like that, and if you're on this webinar and you don't know anything about stocks and maybe you're going through something like that, I would love to join you guys and you guys check out what we got going on here. But before we dive into Eyeless and like our biggest trade and his biggest trade of the week, let's talk about Jack.
I get in and out, like just testing the waters. Like I'm not really good at just being like, this is the bottom, buy. I'm good at just like going small, like feeling it out and then being like, okay, like this is working. Like you see how I did it on that? I was like, okay.
Let's talk about Jack and like a little bit about what he's done and his history. And then if you guys have any questions, write them down. And at the way end, we'll go over that. I mean, we'll look slightly at the questions and see if there's any good enough to answer right away. And then if not, we'll go over them right after. But we'll do Eyeless first. But Jack, I would love to hear a little bit more about you.
Yeah.
My favorite stat about him is, like I told you guys before, is he did not profit for 20 months. And like he just told you guys, we were in the game longer, but he's getting better at certain kind of things that he's able to kind of make more. But at the same time, he was actually at the conference that we were at in 2017. So he wasn't profitable when we were just becoming profitable. So it's really cool to see that it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, so I first got into in 2017. Actually, a good friend of mine introduced the stock market to me, and after that, I was pretty much addicted to it right away. And if you guys want to know like the full story, there's a bunch of interviews out there. Like Tim Sykes did a 4-part interview. Like the valet turned into millionaire day trader.
Hey.
If you guys want to check that out, that's like a 3 or 4 hour interview about like the full details. But I'm gonna try to just like make this quick since we only have a certain block of time, and this isn't really an interview.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was unprofitable for 20 months, and then I ended up meeting one of my good friends, Dominic Mateo, and he was trading OTC penny stocks. And I actually moved out to Michigan, and I traded with him for a year, and he really got my wheels turning, and he taught me, and I probably wouldn't be here even close to where I am without him. And then after that, it got kind of quiet. I made my first 100K, and then going into the pandemic and 2020 and 2021 with COVID, the market, it just exploded with tons of opportunity in OTCs and with NASDAQs and COVID plays and weed stocks and shroom stocks and every single electric vehicle, Tesla, all these stocks were popping up and creating a lot of opportunity and sympathy plays. And they were doing all the patterns that we're very familiar with, the first green days breakouts, first red days, panic dip buys, all these patterns that I'm very familiar with. And what I really focused on was I always wanted to like beat the highest level in the video game and reach the max level. And I always pushed myself and held myself accountable for trading the best that I possibly could and taking the opportunity and trying to milk every single drop that there is in the opportunity. And I would say like that's kind of like what separates me from the stock snipers is I really like push myself to be the best. For the stock snipers kind of are a little bit more relaxed and like Mike's probably a better teacher than I am because he's very passionate about it. He's very into it. He takes it slow and he shows you how you can really turn.
He's not lying. He's lying.
A few $100s into a few $100,000. And I would say it's a lot harder to learn from me, from somebody who's trying to, push huge size and who's trying to make the most. And I really just focused on the trading aspect, but I was able to turn about 30,000 into like 8.5 million now. and that's all through.
Sorry, I laughed about that. That wasn't a laugh. That was more like a celebration laugh. I've known him too long that we kind of just laugh at each other whenever we do something. Not too long, but for 2 days that when something weird comes out, we just laugh at each other.
So that's really just what I focused on, and that's what I've been able to do. And it wasn't overnight either. Like, I've taken more trades than them, and they've been in the game for twice as long as me. I've taken about 5,000 trades.
Oh wow!
So
that's good to hear.
Yeah.
What about losses? How many losses you got?
I have a bunch of losses. I probably have like 2,000 losses. I think my win percent is around 64, 65%.
Yeah, so almost the same.
Yeah, and that's really what you got to focus on. You got to focus on winning about 2/3 of the time and focus your risk to reward ratio around losing $100 and trying to make 300, trying to make 3 to 1 on your money and trying to win 2/3 of your trades. And that's kind of the process that I stuck to, and that's how my stats worked themselves out. Even when the market was really hot, I was winning like 10 times the amount that I was losing. I had like a 10.0 profit factor, but it's really slowed down, and it always works itself out. Like in a slow market, your stats are going to look worse, and in a hot market, your stats are going to look better. But it's always going to find that mean of like what trading really is. And I think really the best that you can do is like 75 win percent, and maybe you win 4x, 5x the amount that you do if you don't have a lot of mistakes. But I would say that's about the best that you can do. So, I still am working every day trying to, get better. And just recently I found a lot of passion for trading again. I kind of fell off a little bit when I was in November. I had like a bad loss, and I was just getting sick of trading. So I took like a few months off in the summer, and in the winter I just kind of really lost my passion. But I would say in the last like few weeks, like I've really found this like fire in my eyes again to do well. And I've had a good few weeks here, and it's just because I feel like I have the passion to get up again. And when I get up again, like I'm excited to go like check the market and trade again. Whereas like a few months ago, like I was like, trading like this and that. So you're gonna go through cycles, and it's just all about like knowing yourself, right? So if you're in a bad mental state, like you don't want to be, pressing yourself to push size. Like you want to be taking it easy, just relaxing, like taking a couple trades, like trying to build that motivation, build that discipline, and all of these things that you need to be really profitable back up. And then once like you really feel it, like that's when it's time to go for it, when the market's hot. And that's when I make the majority of my profits. Like a big stat that stuck with me was you make 80% of your money with 20% of your trades. So for me, like it's really about hitting it hard when it's there, and when it's not there, it's really about just like being there and not having like rust on you for when the opportunity's there. So, you're just sticking around, you're staying into it. But when it's there, you have to be like really focused, and that's where you make the majority of your money. And it's hard, like if you're older and you have a family and you have another job, like it's going to be difficult, but you can definitely still do it. It's just like once you put that 110% effort in, that's what really is going to take you to the next level, and that's what's going to push you to be the best trader that you can be of yourself.
I love that, dude. That was awesome, bro. And this guy literally is teaching me how to become a better trader every single day. I mean, I was looking up to him before I even got to meet him, and then now meeting him, like he was saying, he's got very similar strategies than what we have going on, but he's very good at his risk levels and then knowing when to size up and then taking advantage of that stuff. So big shout out to Jack here. And one of like the coolest things about him here is we actually were able to catch a trade, pretty much the same trade that we were eyeing down. We were both eyeing down this trade together, and it was awesome that we actually were able to do it together on the same day. So we're going to go over that trade right now. And one thing I want to highlight that I kind of got out of Jack's conversation that he just kind of said to all of us was at the beginning of all these webinars, like I was saying, and you guys it might have been blurred out, and we'll go back to that, was there's hot sectors that's a really thing. It's a big thing in the stock market. And just like Jack was saying, Tesla is the EV sector, and then you have cannabis. You have all different kind of sectors out there. And when they're hot, you really want to take advantage of those ones. And if you're able to take advantage when they're hot, you can really make your account move. And when it's slow, you can still grind and definitely make money, but it's more of a grind. And as long as you realize that, then you'll be able to really not beat yourself up, drag yourself in a hole, and have to watch 5 Headspace episodes before then. That's something really cool I learned about Jack as well. So yeah, he loves it as well. So really cool stuff about Jack that we learned about each other, I kind of asked him what he does for his daily routine. And guys, it's really cool stuff. I mean, we're all normal people, so we all have our own routines. And I mean, he does almost very similar. We both kind of agreed on Headspace. It might not be something we do every single day, but it's something we're trying to kind of work at. And I recommend it, and then it was really cool. He kind of said he recommended it too. Do you know about that app?
Yeah, I've been working on
Meditation's big.
Yeah,
I got a huge comment real quick. Not meaning to interrupt Jack, but our boy Robert Cameron, he said, from Massachusetts, thumbs up.
We're
all
on
my
Insta Live.
traders in one video. This is crazy. Hey Robert, this is awesome. We actually might be visiting Massachusetts soon to visit Jack. So if we are in the area, feel free to reach out to this Instagram. We'll hit you back up. Yeah, guys. So we're actually on Instagram Live if you want to check it out. But I think we're exiting out. But yeah, guys. So that was one of the coolest things. So before we dive into Eyeless, or actually, do you want to dive into Eyeless first, and we'll do questions after? Yeah. So we'll dive into Eyeless, and then we'll do some questions after. So let's dive into Eyeless, guys. And Eyeless, this was our kind of win, and then Jack can kind of describe what he did, because what he did was different than us, but we all initially had the same kind of plan. So let's actually pull the charts up to show you what exactly was going on here. Now, for those of you guys that are brand new with the Snipers or Jack, I would recommend you guys to check out in the morning or every single day our weekly watch list, and it'll actually show you guys what we were looking for in Eyeless. Now, when Jack hit me up that he was going to be here on Tuesday and that we were actually going to trade in the morning, one of the first things I reached out to him and said was Eyeless panic dip buy on the watch, and he said right to 0.10, baby. And I was like, yep. And then, dude, that's exactly what happened. But for those of you guys that want to check it out, at the beginning of every week on Sunday, and then I think it might be beneficial for you just to check out now that you have another trader, is I do this on every Sunday, and every Sunday is going to be a list of stocks that are interesting that we think that could make us money for the next week, as well as options. But here we have Eyeless panic dip buy is the first one, exactly down to 10. And then what's cool is we have Humble too that ended up working out, but that one's a little harder. But still, so Eyeless is on there. So something you want to check out is that watch list every day. Now, what we're looking for on that watch list is a panic dip buy down to 10 cents. So I'm going to let Jack talk more about this, because you guys hear me talk about day trading all the time. So let's kind of dive into what you kind of were looking at here in Eyeless.
Yeah, so ILUS, I've mentioned it a little bit. They had an Instagram reel yesterday where I kind of talked about the trade like right after I got in.
Very good. Go check us out. We got in.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool to see. But just to start with a bigger picture, ILUS was basically nothing. 2 years ago, it was really trading at sub penny. Let me see if I can pull up the chart from 2 years ago, 3 years. Let's see.
Oh my God, it was nothing. My bad.
It actually was nothing, and
it's got the drawing thing on. Just take that to the.
Yeah, so it doesn't even matter, but
yeah, it don't matter.
It was nothing, and it started. It's an acquisition company, so it started running last February. It actually had huge volume, the biggest volume day, which was nuts, and people just basically held on because they really liked the company. And I know a lot of OTC pumpers that really believe in this company really, really well, and that means that when it dips, people are gonna buy the dips because the pumpers are not selling, and they keep telling everybody to keep buying and buying and buying.
I didn't think about that.
So ILUS, it actually started this run in September, and I had a few really good trades on it. I bought the breakout. The best trade on it was this breakout over the multi-day and the
multi-year, right?
Yeah,
I think we played that one too, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so it was a perfect breakout over 20 cents, and I had it from like a 21 cent average, and I sold it into 40 cents.
You held that?
Yeah, I held it.
No way.
Yeah.
All both days?
Yep.
Holy shit. That's sick. See, that's the thing that kind of maxed out. I actually am starting to realize, which I'm going to practice a lot on my own with Nick and the Snipers as well, but Jack is really, really good at noticing that he's got a good spot, and that as long as he's got good size there, that he's in control of this trade, and he's going to let it actually get the most out of it. That's kind of what he's telling me. You got to get the most out of your trades. You're getting into good trades, but you got to get the most out of it. And that's kind of what this is. From 20 to 40, that's crazy.
Like Mike, he has really good ideas. Like if you've seen like his weekly watch list, like I said, really good at teaching like how to turn like a couple hundred into
I got to level it up now.
A few thousand, but it's just really like what you want to do with it. And for me, like I wanted to maximize every single trade. So that's what I focused on. But anyway, that's just like a backstory of ILUS. And then it started getting really choppy up here. And I was trying to buy this breakout, and I actually lost a bunch on the stock. in this range where it was faking the breakout like a bunch, and that's what happens sometimes. But it just ended up stuffing at 50 cents, and really the key thing was to wait for one of these daily candles to close green. But for me, I wanted to absolutely nail it with like mega size, and I wanted to get in early so I was able to average into a winner. But unfortunately, I messed up that trade, and it's come down for a while now, and I was kind of watching it because it's been downtrending since 38 cents, and it came all the way down to 10 cents. And if you know, 10 cents, 1 cent, $1, $10, $100, they are major psychological levels. And knowing that the stock is down so much, I thought that it had a good chance to bounce, and the stock snipers agreed with me, and it gave me even more conviction.
It was very nice. Yeah, it was nice little morning there.
Because I know that they also have really good ideas. So what happened was in the morning, I did share my execution chart on Instagram and Twitter. If you guys saw, I did end up buying some at the morning because it looked like it was going to spike right here. But I ended up selling it once it broke below this low. Like, I sold as much as I could down here. So I took a really small, like $2,000 loss. But then once it came down here and then it turned again and retook 10, I bought it back again right here. And then as it held this higher low, I knew that I could risk this low a day, and I had a really tight risk to reward ratio here. And then as it started thinning up on volume, as you can see, the volume was really quite heavy in the morning. But then after 9:37, the volume really lightened up. And for me, if the volume lightens up, you can tell that the stock, there isn't as many sellers. And with ILUS, I know that, it's good for identifying bottoms, like a lot of heavy volume. But once that volume kind of dissipates, it almost is going to go up or just not really do much because there's no more really sellers. So it's just all of a matter of our buyers going to come in. And
dude, it was crazy. Before he kind of moves on, guys, I'll kind of put my 2 cents in. That was the crazy part that actually really helped me out. Like, he was saying he had the confidence a little bit from us, which I love that. And I had the confidence from him because of that. And that was something I actually don't really do. So if you guys ever traded with Jack, he's not even the biggest chart guy. Jack's a level 2 guy. The guy's just looking at numbers the whole time. I'm like, what the fuck? This dude's just talking numbers pretty much. Like, if you look at his screen, half of it's numbers and the other half is charts. If you look at my screen, I'm looking at all charts. So maybe that's something I'm doing wrong, but it was a great thing to be able to see that. And what he's looking at is volume. He's really noticing, just like he told you guys, all the volume happened in this morning for the first couple 5 minutes. After that, like he's saying, it's just light volume. So these dips are really just light dips, and you're just waiting for buyers to come in, right? That's what you're doing.
And one other thing that, like, I mentioned was to, let's see if I can get a 3-day chart so I can show the downtrend. 3-day, 1 minute here.
Yeah, you can watch it on it.
Oh, yeah. So here's the downtrend. And I was kind of telling Mike and Nick, like, hey, like, kind of look at this downtrend.
Yeah.
Like, the line's still here. And I was like, once it kind of breaks above, like, this line here, I think, like, it's going to start trending up.
That's when Sniper Nick somehow grabbed it.
That's when Sniper Nick grabbed it
effortlessly.
Grabbed it effortlessly.
While we were stressing for like an hour.
The best of us.
Yes. So he grabbed it somewhere in here when it broke the trend line. And at this point, like, I had also gotten some ads like somewhere in here. So I had quite the sizable position because I knew that I would only be able to get size in the morning volume. And then I would just kind of have to hold and scale my size out. So I ended up buying like 1 million shares from 10.3-ish. And I knew that my risk would be if it goes back below 10, I can cut into 10 and below 10. So I'd probably lose like 5, 6, 7 grand with slippage, something like that. And my upside was I wanted to see it go to 13 or 14 cents because of CYBL. And I used this example.
Yeah, this is actually good. He showed me this, actually.
Yeah, I used this example because this is also a stock that ran with ILUS. And as you can see, like, it bounced off a penny right here perfectly. And it bounced all the way up to a little bit over 1.4. So using that kind of same idea, I got into ILUS at 10 cents, 10.3, and I was like, all right, I would kind of like to see it go to 13 or 14. And what also made the trade even better was around this time, the company actually released a press release. And that's what CYBL, ILUS, and a few of these other stocks are really good at.
They're
really good at pumping and pumping at the right times. And that's what's key is they released the press release around, I don't know the exact time. Someone can find it in chat, but it was around here or here, and the press release came out
And guys, what he means by that is this company literally has a news article that they probably had for days, and they're just waiting to release it, and then boom, it's like perfect timing. They know the patterns almost we're looking at. They know the momentum shift, so they're almost doing this as well with us.
Yeah, they probably loaded up here in the morning volume as well, and
in a way, with what we're trying to do, guys, is we know there's scammers out there in this OTC markets. Like, not every OTC stock's going to make it to that next level. We know there's scammers, but if you can actually find out how they're scamming people and then jump on that and take advantage of that move, you don't have to get scammed. You can actually just be a part of it and kind of just take advantage, and that's really what's going on right here.
Yeah, and then, I mean, the stock trended up, and it really started losing volume here, and I was really confident. I was like, this trade's going to work. And once it broke over the high of the day here, that was around 11 cents, it just was a straight trend all the way to 13.
That was your last entry to the jackpot, to the casino.
Yep, that was the last entry you could have taken. And I see, like, you could have taken many entries. Like, you could have taken it here, but if you have a smaller account...
I said I didn't add more, but whatever.
I really like Sniper Nick's entry. He took it around here when the press release came out, and... he sold it into the 13. I think he sold it at 13.6. Yeah, 13.6.
It was like one of the perfect. Yeah, that was actually. So
it was pretty. Spots. It was like
for the day trade.
Yeah, it was a perfect trade, and I just really liked it. Like, it was a really straight up spike, and I had to scale out of my position because I had a lot more size, and I didn't want to tank the stock. But when it broke the trend, it came back down, and then I sold some more into the close, and I still have a little bit of it, to be honest. I still have. Like 189,000 shares from like the low 12s because I added some today on the dip at 13.2.
We actually missed that one. We almost tried to get it, but he did it. We almost did it too. I mean, honestly, with our patience, I probably would have been out, but this guy's got the patience of a lion.
So for me, it's just it's like I'm trying to follow the trend, right? And looking at it on a bigger picture, you can kind of see that the support that it created today was at yesterday's high day, and that's kind of a support level that I like to look at. Is the high of day from the previous day, if it gaps up, and if this is the previous high and it gaps up here and it comes back down and it bounces off this level, which is the high of the day, that's something where I'll look for a stock to kind of turn around or a key level. So you're always just looking for that support level to get in at the good entries, because I think good entries are a lot more important than good exits, because a good entry is going to determine how much you're going to lose on the trade. Like, if you chase a stock at the dead top, like, you're going to lose much more than if you get an entry at key support. So, exits are also really important. I'm big on that, and that's what the snipers have to work on, is being a little bit more patient. So it really is a double-edged sword, but I really think focusing on entries is the main thing.
Yeah, that was something that I definitely took out of the whole trip that he was here, was having your entry spot and then being able to size into that spot is so key. And that's how he's gotten so good, guys, because he's not throwing all this money at once. He's actually slowly sizing in, but making sure that when he's sizing in, he's actually getting the right spot. So he's not sizing in up here at 10.9 and shit like that. He's sizing in around these areas because he knows that if that does drop below 10, now he's in trouble and now he has to think about selling. But if it does drop below 10, you're losing 3%. You're not losing a huge amount. And to lose 3%, to risk that 3% for the upside of 30%, I mean, we really didn't think it was going to go 30, but to tell you the truth, Jack kind of did in his head. He was literally telling us, I think this is going to hit 14. So in his head, his mindset was completely right about, yeah, as long as I have a good enough risk here, I have that confidence that I'm not going to sweat about it and I'm going to let it go. And that natural emotion, guys, is going to take some time to go over, and I'm personally still going over and getting over that emotion and the sweats and all that stuff that happens, guys. You're a human being. We're a human being too. You had that at one point, right?
Yeah, I mean, I had it for a while until, like, I really stopped caring about the money. Like, if you have bills to pay and if you don't have that much money, and, like, if you're up, like, $50 and you're like, oh, like, that's good. Like, I can take $50 and I can buy this or I can buy that. Like, you can't think of it in the money. Like, the way I think it is in terms of liquidity and how can I have, like, the most perfect trade? How can I buy the bottom with the most potential size? And how can I sell the top into the what's up, man?
Sniper Bo has made it in the house, guys. Jack Bo, Bo Jack. Two legends just met each other. His idol. That's what I'm talking about. This is my roommate. He looks up to this guy. I mean, a lot of people look up to this guy. I look up to this guy. And Bo has finally made it in the building. So we got a couple people live. Hunter actually has a question. We have Hunter live here in the building. Sniper, Sniper Hunt, man. For those of you guys that are in the sniper chat, what is the question you got?
No, I was just
Before we go into deeper questions.
I was just curious about your statement when it came to like scaling out of your position, because do you, psychologically speaking, if you were to just get out of your position entirely, do you see the stock just like go out with your exit, or by scaling out of it yourself, like psychologically, do you think people follow, like, I don't know, the stock continues to rise because you're not, I'm sure your position size is larger than a lot of other position sizes, like, you know.
Well, one thing that I believe in is selling into strength, especially if you're in a winner. Like, if a stock's dipping and you know you're selling a loser into, like, if you're selling this dip right here at the dead bottom, that's like something that I don't believe in. Like, I'd rather wait for this to bounce and fail. Like, I'd rather wait for this bounce to fail and then head lower and then sell, like, kind of into that. Like, but I don't want to freak out into like these large dips. So I just want to scale out into the strength and let like the buyers take the shares off of me, because selling into this, like, this is just being emotional and it's not good execution. Like, like I said, like, I'm always searching for the perfect trade.
You're really just trying to max out everything.
I'm trying to max out everything. I'm trying to search for the perfect trade, and like that's kind of how I've been able to do, you know, what I did. And like that's what I said at the beginning. Like, it's a game, right? And I'm trying to play the game to the best of my ability.
Yeah. And what's on top of that is he's scaling out, but he's putting limits in. So like he's throwing in a limit. I think his first limit was like right around here, right?
No, honestly, I started scaling out into 12.
It was like right here, but this was one of his limits because I remember it literally filled half of his and then it rejected him. So yeah, he has to figure out how he's got to scale out. But like Hunter was asking, he's not emotionally doing this because this is an emotional sell right here. He's actually putting limits in and he's actually letting them just come up to his limit and just eat his limit. It's pretty much what he's doing. It's nuts, actually. Watching it in person was awesome. Was very, very awesome and very, very helpful and tipful. But yeah, it was pretty cool stuff, man. That was my favorite. So a couple questions that I have to ask for you about iList, because I got some questions, is because volume is huge. In Jack's kind of lifestyle, volume's huge because the guy's literally looking at level 2s. He's not looking at questions. No, there's no trick questions. But like you were saying, you look at this volume and you know this is heavy, and then you know it lightens up. So how do you know that for anybody that's just like trying to figure that out?
I'm looking at the volume
Are you looking
bars.
The day before too?
Yeah, the day before, and just really.
So what would you do? You'd actually open up the day before too?
So yeah,
this is what I'm actually pretty questionable about as well.
Jack, do you trade on your phone, or do you ever trade on your phone?
Not really, no.
This guy has an Android, dude. He's against Apple. He's against Apple, dude.
So like as you can see, like these morning panics, they don't have any volume, right? Like there's no volume here, there's no volume here, there's no volume. There is some volume here.
And you're talking about the bottom lines right there. Yeah, no volume, but yeah.
This is key because this finally broke below the daily chart level of 15, 16 cents. And this was a key level, and you can tell that the stock's going to go lower because a lot of people sold right here. And as you can see, like the volume is increasing slowly and slowly. And then when it hits that key level at 10 cents, that's when the volume increases. And that's how you can identify a bottom. A bunch of volume, a key level, and then the volume lightens up and they release a PR, and it's the hottest OTC stock, I would say, for the last few months because there hasn't been anything really hot.
And coming down to a long-term support. But with the volume, so this is what you're doing, you're opening up a 5-day chart usually?
Yeah, like a 5-day, whatever it is.
That was just my personal question. I always wondered that because you were really good with like noticing. Because one thing that he really noticed that I didn't notice about iList was the volume was heavy, and then he noticed that this was all light. So even on these dips, he wasn't scared at all. Like he had no reason to think that this thing was dropping below 10. Even when it was even close to 10, we weren't stressing too much at all, and then the PR finally lifted it up. But yeah, I was just kind of wondering that because he was in complete control, where in a little bit in my head, I was kind of getting a little nervous at this point, on these points, and he thought he was in control, and now it makes sense, because all the volume pretty much went through. All the sellers are gone, and now it's really just who's going to take the buys, because if you're going to sell more, it would force it down, but no one's selling, so that's pretty much holding it up, pretty much, right? Mm-hmm. Nice, dude. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, so I would say on the level 2s now, because I know you're a big level 2 guy. Now, what size, like, are you looking for on the number-wise? Because, like, you know how they come chunks of 10,000s, 50,000. Does that matter, or is it all just kind of comparing to the volume?
Well, it's kind of hard to tell, like, based on, like, the size that they're showing. Because
you were just looking at level 2s. I was like, how the fuck is this guy reading it?
Yeah, I just like looking at level 2 to kind of see, like, not really the amount of size that's going through, but more so, like, the amount of buyers and sellers. So if there's, like, if it's at, for example, right here, okay. So the stock dipped below 10 cents briefly right here. And yeah, the stock dipped below. If you looked at the level 2, it was stacked with 0.099999. So they were showing a ton of bidders right below 10 cents. So that kind of like gave me conviction that the stock's not going to drop below anymore because, they're stacked right below 10 cents. So somebody is trying to buy. Some people are hungry for that 10-cent level, and that kind of showed to me like that it was bullish. And like through these areas, you would always see like the level 2 like turn back up, and like you'd see a bunch of bidders coming into level 2, and that's just something that I look at. Like,
so would you say like the level 2 you're saying there was bigger like sizes on the buy side and the sell side?
No, not even
Not like that.
not like the size that they're showing. It's the amount of market makers that they're showing on the buy and the sell side. So like there's 5 market makers trying to buy, but there's only like 2 market makers trying to sell.
Oh, that's what you're looking at.
Yeah.
There you go. That answered my question. Do you guys hear that? That actually completely answered my question. I had no clue what the fuck he's looking at. Nick doesn't even know what we're talking about. Dude, he's looking at the market makers and how many orders are lined up compared to the other side. So if it's like 999 and there's 5 999s on the buy side, that's more interesting than 2 10s on the sell side.
Mm-hmm.
He's more looking at that. I wasn't looking at that at all. That's fucking sick.
That's what I'm looking at.
Now I know. Okay, that's really cool. See, I was asking him if he's looking at a number, like 50,000, 100,000, like what is that scaring you away? He's actually looking at the market makers and how many are lined up for that next opportunity, which
Go to the chat and
awesome.
see if let's make sure they're still in this and like see if they're understanding.
Yeah. I think
Right.
Christina would have messaged us, but yeah, let's make sure that you guys can still hear us really quick. Sorry about that. We'll go back to our chat
See
room.
if they're
just to get back
understanding
there.
what we're saying too. Like, do you guys understand the ILUS trade, or is it too complicated?
Fucking where is it? It's one of these two. There we
You
go.
said good.
Yes, it sounds like everyone's good.
Great explanation.
Oh, let's go!
Okay, really cool. Good.
I love that. We're still maxed out at 100.
You guys crushed it. That's a great explanation.
Thank you, guys.
I learned a lot too.
B&B, Marquette in the house. You know?
Yeah. I think-
Christina said great explanation on level 2.
Christina, big shout out. I want to just give a shout out to Sniper Christina. She's the one that's keeping us with the volume. We just went over 9 o'clock, but we don't give a fuck. We're going to keep going here, guys. Sorry for my language. All right, it looks like I got a lot. We got a lot. So before we dive into questions and all the interesting part about
Should we go
that,
to Facebook quickly?
yeah, let's talk about something that actually unfortunately happened to us all together.
I'll go live on Facebook.
And what's great was the saying was fucking Facebook, because it's probably just gonna expire our option, but he actually got out. So we can actually talk about. We played this stock as an option. So for those of you guys that are fairly new, most of you guys know what options is, but it's a cheaper way of playing a listed stock. Now, Jack, on the other hand, he has a little more in his account that he can actually play the stock as it lies. So instead of actually playing the option, he actually played the first green day. And if we look at Facebook, guys, every single one of you guys know about Facebook. All of you guys know that they turned into the metaverse. And when they turned into the metaverse, it seemed like something went wrong. And I don't know what it was, because Mark Zuckerberg seems like a robot, and he seems like he's not a real human, but it gapped down $120. So, or $110. And for it to gap down that much for a big stock is crazy. So we're just trying to take advantage of a first green day. And actually, we actually hit this option on this day.
Yeah,
and then,
me too.
yeah, so we actually were able to take full advantage of this. We made almost like 50% on this day. But then when we try to jump back in and go even bigger than before, we got ourselves washed out. And that's going to happen in the stock market world. And Jack was along with us. But the cool thing about winning and losing is if you do stick to your control, risk, and reward, like with Jack, we got a nice win. So no matter what happens with this trade, we're actually probably going to end up profiting no matter what, which is really good. And with him, he got in and then ended up losing on this, but still profited between ILS and Facebook altogether. Right?
Yeah.
So altogether, and that's the important thing that I want you guys to realize as we dive into here. We're going to highlight one loss, but we just highlighted one win. And you can have one win and one loss, but still profit if you stick to the plan. So let's dive into Facebook on the big gap down. I mean, what do you think about this? This was a huge gap down, a push, and then we actually bought thinking that this was going to be a first green day. So let's dive in and look at it.
Yeah, so with Facebook, it reminded me of.
I fucking
You
can't
just
believe
highlighted
this
the
fucking
screen.
stuff. I know.
So,
I just highlighted the whole screen.
so with Facebook, I was kind of looking at the two. I was looking at Netflix, right? So I compared.
It's funny that he thinks that because I thought the same exact thing.
I compared ILUS to
Netflix.
CYBL, and that's what I'm always doing. Is I'm always looking for stuff to compare it to because history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes, right? And that's something that Psych says.
This has to happen again.
And with Netflix, like it gapped down big too as well, and it came down, and then it had a huge bounce from
that could be tomorrow.
350 to 450, right? And with Facebook, it's a little bit more difficult. It's not an OTC stock, but we're trying to get better. There's not too many OTCs. We still nailed the OTCs, and we'll always have those in our blood, but we're trying to get better every single day. So with Facebook,
I like that. Yeah, good way of explaining it.
With Facebook, you can kind of see that it created this triple bottom, right? It bottomed here, it bounced, and it came back down, it bottomed. And then it looked like it was going to crack support, but it actually made this hammer candle, right? And if you guys aren't familiar with that, Google that right now, what a hammer candle is. And it's actually a sign of a reversal. So,
dude, it looks so good.
We bought pretty early. I bought around 218, right? I bought early around right here, but I knew my risk was below the low at like 215, right? So it almost stopped me out. I was risking about $3 a share, and we were kind of looking for it to go back to 230, 240, 250, like a big bounce. So our risk to reward was intact. Mm-hmm. And it closed strong, and we were at the golf course. We were
pumped, dude.
This thing's gonna gap up and push to 230 tomorrow. But unfortunately,
it was so funny. We were like, hell yeah.
But unfortunately, with big caps, they release a lot more news. Like
the robot decided to talk.
You can see all the news today, and actually in pre-market, he said that the employees have to start calling each other micro buddies, right? So I have to start meta buddies. I have to start calling Mike my meta buddy. And that tanked the stock.
For some reason, why would that tank it?
It tanked the stock, and it was just unfortunate.
Nick likes that idea. That's not a good idea.
And the way that I managed my losses was like this was a big downtrend. Like I should have cut it right here. Like this was the best spot to cut. Like bad news, get out for break even at 218. But I was eating breakfast. I'm on vacation. I'm not on the top of my game, and I also didn't have a huge position size, so I can kind of not be so stressed about it. And then I started looking at it down here, and I was like, all right, I'm going to wait for the bounce to sell. It bounced a little bit here. I put a sell order in for 215.50. Unfortunately, it didn't execute me, and it kept trending down. And then I waited.
MetaMaze, laugh out loud.
And then it kept trending down. And then once it popped at market open, I sold into the bounce at 214.50. And I got out for let's see, I lost maybe 25%, 30% of my gains. On ILUS, and that's okay because if this stock worked out, I would have probably doubled my gains on ILUS. I would have been up huge on the week, but instead I took a small loss, and that's okay. And like I said, Facebook and these bigger caps are a lot less predictable compared to OTC penny stocks.
Zuck the zombie. That's what Christina just said. Zuck the zombie. He is, guys. And what makes us even better, guys, is he just explained to you guys how he got in and out of his execution. So he's in, he's out. He took the loss, and he's profitable in ILIS. So now that we're profitable and we're done with these two trades, what do? We eye down Facebook even more. Because now, if you're not in it, this thing could slightly go down more. And in our eyes, if it hits 200, that's just me and him personally, we think that's got to be the turnaround. So if this thing is going to continue to drop for us, that's a good thing, guys. Don't beat yourself up. Don't be like, oh, fuck, this is not cool. Facebook's going to go down to the ground. No, start, chopping up your hands. Start really understanding that you actually have a good opportunity that's about to happen. So even though we took that loss, we're going to be back for this. I'm definitely going to be back for this, and I'm sure Jack will be back for it. We won't be together at the time, but hopefully we're able to nail it at the same time.
Yeah, so so me and Mike, we turned to each other and all right, 200, sub 200, and that's also something I want to talk about with ILUS because I actually was buying ILUS around 15 cents here on this day because as you can see,
we bought that too, actually. We bought that first green day.
This was also a hammer candle, right, where it dips down and then it comes back and it closes green, and this is something that I look for a reversal. As you can see, the same kind of trend here and here and here, when it dips down.
It actually gaps up.
Yeah, it kind of creates that.
It usually does, yeah.
But unfortunately, these hammer candles have been failing this week, and it washed out a little bit more, and then it bounced off 10. So with Facebook, if it's going to wash out below this hammer candle that it created down to 200 or whatever it is, 190. I think 195 is a good spot that I'm looking for. If it goes to 195, I'll really like it, and I think it could bounce 220, 230, 240, maybe 250. So I'm still keeping this on watch, and I took
Got
a
it.
small loss. And like I said, I did really good on it this day, so I'm still green on the ticker.
Yeah.
And that's what's key. It's about keeping your losses small and letting your winners run.
Yep, and that was perfect about it. And in like iList, just like Facebook guys, they do the same thing. Listing panicked technically, and when Hunter was kind of getting scared, and it's not to make fun of Hunter, but Hunter's at his beginning stages of his career, and that's a normal emotion. When it drops below 10 support, you kind of think that it's never going to come back below. But you kind of have to want to change your mindset and just think that's a quick sell, and then that's a big volume seller, and it might turn around. And like he said, if Facebook does come to 200, that probably would be the same move right here, but to 195. It'll be like a toop, 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 in our opinion. So I think we'll be looking for that in the future.
And you can also see that I did bought a Tesla, right? So I'm like I said, like I'm still trying to trade these big caps.
We're figuring it out.
I'm not too good at it, but like as you can see,
that was a nice Tesla gap.
This Tesla, you know, it tanked from 1,000 all the way down, and like look at the bottom, right? You guys can see at the very top, it went down to 792, right? This bottom is 792, so it went just below 800, and then it created that hammer candle, and it reversed all the way till 940, guys. So it had a 140 point move. I did bought it at below 800. I think I was in at 796, but I was quick to sell it at 810 because I was not confident.
Oh my god, so that was one that you actually didn't stick to your kind of way.
It was more of like a scalp trade for me.
Yeah, because I guess there was no bottom here. You kind of were risking a little. That was kind of scary. Yeah, I guess this is the bottom.
Yeah, but as you can see,
wow, it's just the drop that you were looking at more.
Remember when I was telling you guys about that former resistance becoming support? So as you can see here, that former breakout level resistance, like I was saying with ILUS, when it came down to that former higher day and bounced, it's the same thing here where it came down to 800 and then it bounced off that level. So it's on a daily chart and an intraday chart, and that's kind of how I'm looking at these first green days. Does that make sense, guys? Like, this is
let's make sure. Let's go back and make sure
that this makes sense.
Yeah, guys, because we're trying to help you guys out. That's the whole purpose of this webinar here. Jack's here to help. That's the beautiful thing about this guy, yo. He's not just making money. He's here to help each other. So let's see. Makes sense to a lot of people. No, we're still in Johnny, unfortunately. But that's an option. Options are completely different than what he would do. His situation, our option gap down to 10 cents. What are we going to sell it at 10 cents? When it's filming. Yeah, we're gonna post this up on our website. Don't worry. I think we got it. I think we got it all.
Do you have any more slides? Or
give us more
questions?
secrets. Yeah, we'll do. I just have one. Yeah, we'll dive into questions. We'll finish this off really quick, and then let's do questions because we did just pass 9 o'clock. So that's our boy Jack. Some key takeaways that I got from Jack really quick. Don't want to boast him up too much. He's my friend now, but this guy is cool, calm, and collective. Very, very cool dude. And also very calm and very collective. And not just as a human being on day-to-day life, not just trading. But when it goes to trading, that's what I mean it by. The guy sat in his chair. He knew what he was looking for. And then when he did it, I didn't see him sweat once. I mean, maybe he was sweating inside. But that guy, he did not look stressed at all. So that's something I'll take away is really try to stay that kind of thing. Also, give it patience. If you have the right risk, that's something that he really, really taught me. Give yourself patience. And then the size-in stuff. We're bag brothers on ILIS. Me and him. We got to tag the bag Tuesday together. Nick was in that. All the snipers were in it. A lot of other snipers were there together. But it shows you guys you can have the same spot, but it all depends on how much you're putting in and how much you're risking. And that's how you grow your account. And that's how this guy was able to do what he is able to do. So awesome to be able to see that. And then the last couple of things I want to say is networking in this game is huge. And that was something that he actually really helped me out with. You got to reach out to people. Don't be shy, guys. This is a great dude. A lot of people would think that, like, these are robots behind it, just like Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, I think he's a robot, but he's probably a great dude, too. But everyone's a human being, guys, and it just takes you to reach out. And honestly, Jack just literally reached out to us to come hang out, and that's how this relationship started. So who knows where this relationship will go. I hope it continues to grow. But the biggest thing is he taught me a lot this weekend, and that was just from networking and reaching out. So just don't be shy to reach out to people, and I'm going to continue to grow with him and then with the new group of people that he's actually introducing me to. So big shout out for him. Great guy. And at the end, like I said, not too bad of a golfer as well. But he's not too bad of a golfer when he has a real golf ball. So I'm going to show you guys a little video that we were able to mess around with him. As you guys can see, it was the exploder ball, It was the perfect timing. We were on the last hole, and Jack lost his last ball. And it was literally the perfect timing because me and Nick were like saying all day, we got to get him with this. We got to get him with this. And then all of a sudden, he asked me for a ball, and it couldn't have been better. So I was like, oh, yeah, I got a ball for you. He's like, oh, I ran out of balls. You guys have a ball? So I said, yeah. So let's watch this video to show you guys how it looked. That was fucking great. And that's all about having fun, guys. Gender reveal ball.
You guys gotta get some laughs in, and you know that's something that
That was great times. Great times out there all together, guys. Great times.
yeah, you really got to get laughs in and smile because, you know, I was a very cynical person. Like I was pretty much very short biased 2019. Even at the beginning of 2020, it wasn't really till the end of 2020 that I was like, you know, going long is a lot better. You can make a lot more. You have a lot less risk, and you know, it's more fun to go long, right? Like it's more fun to cheer something on and like,
make it go up.
make it go up, and like exactly, like it's fun to hit a golf ball that doesn't have anything in it, and it's just gonna explode on you, right? So it's about like, you know, smiling and having fun, and that's something that I had to learn how to do because I was so serious and so cynical for so long. And really negative and really unhappy. But once I turned that around and I smiled more and I let myself have more fun, and everything just really turned around for me. And going long, you know, it really helped my mental game. So that's just one thing that I wanted to share.
I love that.
With smiling.
If you are better, it's like betting the over. No one likes to bet the under. Who the fuck roots for an under? You bet the over. You always want to root on things to go up. And then you root on it together. And that was something we actually got to share together. So the moment Tuesday will be something that I'll probably remember for the rest of my life. I mean, maybe we'll be able to get bigger bags together, but that was a very special moment for us to be able to like cheer each other on. And I can't wait to watch the film because Nick was filming us. But like to just be able to, that's him on the drum in there. But for him to actually be able to film it and watch us actually like say, "Oh, it's going up, it's going up." It was fun, man. I had a great time with you, Jack. So
yeah,
I'm glad you showed up, dude. That was an awesome time. So guys, we'll go into the questions. We'll dive into the questions. I always like to show you guys that our broker's TD, his broker's TD, and E-Trade. I kind of want to just highlight that for you guys to know, right?
E-Trade for my executions.
So I just wanted you guys to know we do TD, he does E-Trade, just so all you guys know. There are other brokers out there. For the short broker, we actually do IB.
I do Cobra trading.
So there are other brokers out there, guys. You don't have to stick with what we have to know. There's tons of ways to make money here. If you guys want to join the team, we would love to have you on the team. Jack is also going to be in there every once in a while, but not all the time.
I think it's a good place to start. Like, the StockSnipers are a really good place to start. Like if you have $500, $1,000, $2,000, because
exactly that's what we recommend to start.
Yep, they'll show you how to really start with that amount and grow that consistently and give you a good fundamental start. Whereas like my methodology and my trading is something that you can look up to and say, wow, like that's what you can do with it. But it's not something you're going to be able to do right off the bat. Not even year 1, year 2, year 3. It's probably not going to be till year 4 or 5 that like. If you're putting 110% effort, that you would be able to like see what I do and try to replicate and model what I do. But for just starting out, like I definitely recommend the StockSnipers, especially if you like OTCs. You know, Mike shows up every day, like he's in the office 9 to 4. I can see how passionate he is about teaching and all this stuff. Like he's gonna give away like a raffle and like
you know, we're giving it out.
We were a little bit late today, and like it was a little bit of a. You know, it was a little bit shaky at the beginning, but as you're going to see, like he put a lot of time into this PowerPoint, and he's always making watch lists and always putting the sniper scope up, and he has these cool hashtags, Tag It Back Tuesday, whatever it is.
Webinar Wednesday.
Money Monday. And it puts some more life into it, and it's definitely a good place to start. And his stuff is really inexpensive, so I definitely I'm giving a big shout out to the StockSnipers.
That's much love, Jack. Yeah. And then the breakouts and breakdowns. If you guys want to go check out Stocks to Trade, this guy does put his own effort in too. So you can always check that out as well.
Yeah, I do have breakouts and breakdowns with my girlfriend Mari and as well as Kyle Williams. We do like a webinar every other Monday. Like it's a lot slower pace. And there's a bunch of members in there, and they'd be really good to network with and hop in there every so often, call out a few trades, and it's just not as hands-on as this. This is really like a smaller group where you can get
appreciate
a lot more from the mentor. Whereas I'm not as as active because you know, I'm trading and I'm trying to live my life, but I still do show up. I give a really good webinar every single, at least once a month. I give a really good webinar, and so do Kyle and Mari as well. And there's great watch lists. And Kyle is also in there all the time, and he is someone who's great to learn shorting from. Kyle is the best short seller I know personally.
That's good.
So if you're into shorting, check out Breaks and Breakdowns. If you have a small amount and you want to learn how to long, check out Stock Snipers.
I love that,
That's what I
dude.
got,
We're working
guys.
together, and that's what life's about, guys. We're working together, and we've been doing this for a long time now. If you are interested in checking us out, we're going to have this YouTube out with Jack, but there's also another YouTube right before this. Actually, last Wednesday, we had another member of ours, Sniper for Sauce Boy, which he's probably on today. I want to shout him out because he actually turned, I think it was a 2,000 or 3,000 into almost 100,000. So he's getting close to 100,000, all with the Stock Snipers, and it took him some time, just like Jack. Guys, if you want to get here and get rich overnight, you're probably in the wrong place. But if you want to put some effort into it and change your life and maybe be a happier person like me and him were talking about, that's what we're here for. I'm here for you. Jack's here for you. That's the purpose of getting rich together. And that's why we have the hashtag Let's Get Rich Together, guys. So you can check us out on the App Store or the website. Either way, you'll be able to find us. And then Sniper U, I don't want to talk too much, but that is also a course that we have that teaches you from scratch, but you have to be signed up as well. And then make sure you do check us out on social media. So on social media, the only thing that changed was Twitter, because I was telling him we had some Drake songs that were played, and I guess Universal does not like us playing Drake on our Twitter. So they took our original Stock Snipers Twitter away. So it's pretty annoying. We had to change our Twitter. But other than that, check us out on YouTube, constant videos, TikTok, all the good Instagram. That's where we're having fun. Like Jack said, it's about smiling and having fun. And that's something that I realized with the stock market world. So it's not boring, but you're looking at numbers all day, and it can get boring. So if you want to enjoy yourself, check us out on the social medias. That's where we try to fool around with each other and tag a bag and do all that stupid stuff. But it's all for fun, guys. So let's dive into the important stuff, the questions, and then we'll finish it off with a good old raffle because we are 20 minutes over. But I want you to all realize that no question is a dumb question. So before you enter and think that you're going to say something stupid, nothing is dumb. And number two, don't compare yourself to anybody else. If you're at the beginning of your journey, you have people in the sniper room that are from beginners all the way to Jack that's made 8 million now. So don't compare yourself. Realize you're in your own journey and be happy about that, and nothing is dumb. So let's get rich together and let's see what questions we got here before this raffle, guys. Let's dive into some questions. This is going to be probably a lot of shit to go over. All right, guys. So if you have questions, let's start typing them in again, because it's going to be tough for us to go back and relook at all of these ones. But we're going to try to go in and see what we got here. All right. Hey, we can stay in touch with you. My current strategy is concentrated in small caps. Michael, you're the man too. Yeah, yep. If you guys have any questions that you've been trying to hold on, put them in and we'll go to the bottom. No, yeah, his patience is unreal. Oh, here's an actual question. Look at that, Shoutout. We got a first question here. Do you still use the 15-minute 15?
Yeah, I still use a 15-day, 15-minute,
Really?
especially if
I've
I'm
never
looking
seen
for breakouts. If I'm looking for breakouts.
You're just kind of looking at the 15-day, 15-minute, and then for like an eye list, or like I guess we'll look at eye list really quick. Or no, I guess it'd be a breakout.
Look at Tilray. Look at the breakout over 615.
So you're looking at 15 days. See, I don't even.
This was a breakout trade that I had
set up at all. I gotta set this one up for myself. Thank you, Shoutout, for that, because we're gonna have to set this up for me. But 15-day, 15-minute. Seems like a chart that you guys all know about. This is one talking about. Should we go farther?
You could probably do. That's good. Like that shows the breakout right there.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely it's something that Dom really taught to me. It's the intradaily, right?
I've never actually seen this one.
So something that you could see with the big picture. If you just look at the daily, like this is the breakout, right? But if you really size this down, you can kind of see that this level is also very key right here at about 615, 620. So instead of having to buy the stock all the way up here at 640, if you can kind of see like this is creating a bunch of support right here and buying into this perk right here at 6, into the end of day.
Oh, wow.
Last at 330. This is where I bought Tilray into 615, 620. This is a better buy and closer to risk and you can risk 610, you can risk $6, whatever it is, and that's kind of how I use the 15-day, 15-minute instead of just looking at the daily chart. Because if you just look at the daily, you would be like, you just be like, oh, this is the breakout up here. But if you actually look, this is a key level, and you can't see it on the daily.
Yeah, no. One thing I did notice about him though is us together is no matter when we're getting in, I think should go for any trader that's usually consistently profitable. No matter where we're getting in, we're actually looking at a risk spot right away. So we're instantly thinking about where we would get out if it happens. So try not to get caught up with the upside, guys, and try to think of that downside. There's a downside in every stock. So try not to be too caught up with that upside and realize that you can lose in all these. So let's see if we have questions at the bottom. All right, here we go. We got some questions. All right, what's the alternative to stocks? Sure, no. You come check us out, man. But risk when you enter a trade. Managing risk when entering a trade is just like he was just going over. So like he was showing you in Tilray, he sees $6 as a support. That's a key support. Now, if he's buying in at 610, that's like 3%, not even 3% or so, 2% from his risk. So that's how he's managing risk. At least that's how I do it. I mean, that's how you do it too, right? Yeah, so it's just really realizing
where you want to risk and realizing how much size you can get at that spot.
So the only reason why I actually fucking have these little ticker things going on right now is because Sauceboy actually showed me this last week when he came for the webinar. But if you guys want to get really technical with it, if you want to know how much you're going to risk, you can just click on this draw thing and then press the support. So you click on support and then you go up to where you think you would buy if you're going to buy at the breakout or wherever the fuck you think you're going to buy. And that's a 7% risk. So if you're buying... See how
I just learned something new.
Sauceboy taught me that too. I was like, dude, that was sick, bro. So like, if you actually want to, that's the only reason why I have this lines. I usually don't do lines too much, but I have this line set up because last Wednesday he taught me that if you just want to click on this support, drag it up to wherever you think that you're gonna buy it at. Which if you did buy a breakout, that's 6% risk. It's showing you right there on the thing. So that's something that might help you out a little bit. Look, we taught Jack something new. There we go. Sauceboy, that was you, brother. Good stuff. I won't take that credit. That was you. All right. Let's see. Any of you use footprint charts and order flow? So, guys, actually a big part of the stock market, I don't know if Jack can agree with me, but there is so much shit out there, guys. And if you don't try to simplify this game, you're going to get so confused. Like, if you look at the styles or the studies, and you see how many different studies there are out there, guys, that is literally just a code and stuff like that people created for us to just try to use and figure out. This one's called the zigzag trend sign. There is so much shit out there, guys, but try to make it as simple as possible. For us, it's really just playing these patterns and realizing you're buying a stock at one price, you're selling it at the next price, and then understanding what key support and resistance levels are. That's kind of what I was like. Keeping it as simple as possible is more what it's like. So none of us, we actually both don't know about that chart that you were talking about. How do you... Andy's actually one of my friends, so I'd actually maybe want you to answer this one. Jack, how do you size with a big account on OTC with number of shares? Example on ILS. Easy to be executed if you buy 10K shares. Yeah. You must have not been here at the way beginning, Andy. But, you want to explain it? You want me to explain it? Yeah, so he actually explained this at the way beginning of this whole thing, but he liked this right here. He decided to get out because it was too much. Now, after that, he realized that 999 had huge bid. So if 999 has huge bid, that's now his risk level. And now after it gets this pop, he gets his first buy at 10.2 or right around here, but now he's trying to figure out the best way he explained it to me is his best spot to maximize his risk, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. In my head, I know what it means, but I hope you guys could at least understand it. He's literally seeing that 10 cent is his cut, and now he's trying to get as close to 10 cent as possible. But he can't buy all those shares at once. It's impossible as an OTC. So you level yourself in. Now, he's not going to level in up here. That's the thing. He wants to level in as close as he can to 10 cents. So he's leveling in on dips, like down here. Or he's leveling in down here when they're dipping, knowing that if it does dip slightly more, he's going to lose, but he's just going to lose a little bit. And that's how he's able to kind of manage it. That's what I realized about him, that's being cool and calm collected. Because a lot of people that just start are going to try to trade momentum, and they're literally just going to try to trade it when it's hot. And if you're going to do that, you're going to buy this candle right here for the most part. And then you're going to get scared, and you're most likely going to sell down here. And he's actually thinking the opposite. He's thinking every time it comes down to that spot that you usually would freak out, he wants to add more. So maybe try to change your mindset. If you're thinking, I'm panicking when it comes down to this spot, start thinking maybe this is a good spot to add. And I mean, that's what I've kind of learned a little bit from him. So yeah, so that was something that's how he kind of sizes up there, Andy. But we talked about it a little bit before when we were talking about Eyeless. Compare the high, the open to figure it out if the stock will explode later in the day. Do you know what he means by that? When the drop is below 50% of the high, it most likely you push later in the day. Do you agree?
Not my pattern.
Yeah. So Julian, that's a good question. We actually are sticking to patterns. Jack has his patterns, we have our pattern, and we're really not trying to stray away from something random. It sounds like you're playing like a gap and crap kind of play, like it's gapping up and then it's
Gap and crap reversal.
Yeah, it seems like that's what you're talking about. It seems like it's like almost like what Zillow did the other day, where they kind of gapped up off earnings and then they turned around. And this was actually a move that we played on the options. So I mean, it's a play, but you got to be really, really strict with it. And this was one that gapped up all the way up to here, pushed down, and we actually bought the options right here, and actually we're able to turn around here. So in a way, yeah, that's a first green day reversal. But we thought this was actually going to come closer to this area, 52. We kind of just got a nice spot there. So in a way, you want to still stick to the patterns. This was a first green day pattern. If it gaps up and it's a first green day, and then you have a nice support to risk off of, I mean, this is a support, and then 52 is a support, or 51.50. So as long as it doesn't crack those, it could reverse, and that's what this one did, if that's what you're talking about there. I'm not exactly sure. Oh. Nah, yeah, we're about to end it out. So we're only going to do a couple more questions, then we're going to finish it out here. We'll try to see which ones are good. It's like, sorry, you wait for the breakout to happen. We're a little more patient here. Doing the peer acknowledgement on it. If there's a volume,
when is Twist coming back? We're not sure right now. We don't have an editor anymore, so it's like this podcast that I did with.
I would love to hear your podcast, dude.
With Matt and Kyle, and now me, Mari, and Kyle did it now. And we just don't have an editor anymore, so we're kind of waiting on that.
Hey, maybe we'll bring it back. Nick does that stuff. We'll figure it out, guys. Don't worry. Twist. Yeah, I don't know that, but we'll figure it out. He's gonna get you guys going. Jack's here for the people, guys. Just know that. Intradaily plays.
How do you scan for intradaily plays? Just basically looking at former runners that are holding near their highs.
Yeah.
Do you look for U shapes or V shapes when you dip by Jack? For a U shape, it would be kind of like I was saying with ILUS, like a lighter volume kind of trickling up. Versus a V shape, it's something like a panic dip buy, like you try to snag the bottom and then you try to sell it into the immediate pop. Because with the V shape, it could just keep going lower. Where a U shape, it's a lot slower, it gives you more time, and it could lead to a slower, more choppy bounce, where a V could be a lot more straight up.
Yeah. Seeing how you're able to do market makers so well on OTCs. I know it's easier to spot the turn level too, but I'd like to know for listed stocks.
Listed stocks, you can't do that, you can't tell.
Dude, listed stocks is like you're looking at a casino. The thing's just freaking flickering. It's very hard for you to read what's going on.
So with VWAP, I'm not looking. If VWAP is very low and I'm buying a stock that is well above VWAP, it's not a good buy. Or if I'm shorting a stock that's very below VWAP, I know that I'm chasing. Jack, share your scanners. I don't use a scanner.
Trading IMTs and yeah, El Chamo. He's one of our members. He's been there for a while.
When do you feel did you overcome your fear for trading? I'm 2 years in. When I stopped caring about the money and I started looking at it as just a video game.
That's a good point.
How do you find your stocks? From friends, from watch lists, just a good memory.
Just seen a shout out showing you go watch some videos of Boeing. A lot of good questions.
How do you keep your emotions in check when placing a trade? Knowing my risk level.
The gap and crap from Roland.
Yeah, gap and crap from Roland. Jack, I'll be your editor. Thank you. I love Twist. D-Walk breakout tomorrow. I was looking at that. That looks like a good buy in the low 80s. Now I feel like it would be a chase.
INTK's like it's a 52-week breakout. It is, but it's on its couple green days. But it is.
What do you think about AABB? I think it's holding 10 cents now, and it's a crypto play. Maybe it pops a little, but it's too liquid to play, and nobody's really watching it. Jack, how do you bounce back when you took really bad losses in the beginning? I didn't bounce back. Like, it took me a while to regain the courage to try again.
And that's why cutting losses, guys, is very, very important. It's an emotional thing. You guys are in an emotional game that we're all playing in an emotional game. So if you're going to be able to beat yourself up after every loss, then you got to be able to you got to know how to handle yourself and realize that maybe you need to go a little smaller. So that's a big thing. Staying consistent with your patterns is going to keep you happy day in and day out.
Yeah, I only move my risk level when I see consolidation or a dip holding higher. Long deal up from 81. Perfect. I love that. Really low risk and great reward. All right, guys. That looks like the end of the questions.
Yeah, let's finish it off with you guys all stayed here for this long, and now it's time for somebody to get rewarded. There's a lot of people here, so I don't know which one is going to be rewarded. We're done with the question, guys, and we have moved on to the spot that we've been waiting for, the good old raffle. Nick's got the live drums in the back. AMC, and a lot of you guys know about them, about the meme stock that has got spiked all in the 80s. They are now back to the $20. So we decided as a team with Jack that we're going to give our revenue back to AMC. We need to help them out a little bit, so let's boost their revenue up. We're giving out gift card to AMC. So it's $25 gift card. It also comes with popcorn. And then on top of that, whoever wins this, we're going to add a bonus for being here today. You are going to get a free month membership with the Snipers. So you'll be able to actually join us, and I'll be able to walk you through what we do. And then if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. But at least you get to go in to AMC and enjoy yourself. So let's start off by freaking, I don't know how we're going to write all these names in the hat. It's going to be almost impossible. So we might have to pick one. I don't know. What should we do?
What you should do is do Google random number generator and put in that there's 69 people and.
All right, here we go. 69.
Random number generator.
All right, guys, we're doing it here for all you guys to watch.
So go max 69.
Here we go. Are you ready? I should do this every time. Jack's clicking the button.
3,
Drum roll. Holy shit, it's 55. Fuck. Dang, that's not what we wanted, but we're going to go look for 55. Hold on. We're going to go down up. So 68. So 13. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have another Tito. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Rohan Reign. That was sick, dude. That was sick. I got to start using that number generator more often.
Yes, sir.
Jack, it was an honor to have you in the StockSnipers headquarters. For those of you guys that don't know, we do this every single Wednesday. So hope to see you guys back here next Wednesday. Check us out on our website, www.thestocksnipers.com, or on the App Store. And if you don't, just come join us on our YouTube, social media. Follow Jack. Follow what we do, because we will continue sniping stocks all together. All right, guys, we are officially out. Great webinar today. StockSnipers out. That's live music. That is live music.